Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Got a special lineup today. Yeah, that's right. We're going to be covering oysters, shrimp, and pie. Who doesn't like pie, right? And speaking of liking pie, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel here. We got a lot of good stuff coming up here in the future. And yeah, today, some really good stuff. Yeah, I created a little invention of my own with respect to pie. But first, we're going to get into oysters. Yeah, we've got oysters two ways. Oyster plate and direct on the grill. This is a cast iron plate that I picked up from Amazon, and I'll include a link in the description, down below. And not to spoil anything, I was pretty pleased with how this worked out. Now the first step here is we have to preheat this as we're bringing the grill up to temp. At least that's the recommendation. And that temp is 450 degrees that we're shooting for. Now while that's going on, it's shucking time. And I gotta tell you, this is definitely easier with a good oyster knife. I picked up a little cheap one, but hey, I got it to work anyway. Also, I highly recommend using a puncture-proof glove or a good towel just to protect yourself. Anyhow, when you go to shucking, what you want to do is you want to slide that knife into the notch there where the two shells meet on the back end, and just give it a little bit of a twist, and then pry that open as you see me doing there. And you just got to repeat that over and over, and then slice across the top of the shell so you free one half of it, so that you can have it on the half shell. And there you go. Pretty straightforward, but it is a fair amount of work, and it does take a few times to get this right. So instead of 12 or a dozen, you may want to get 14 just in case. I mean, you can't go wrong having 2 extra oysters, right? And I can't help but think whoever tried oysters for the first time had to be one brave soul. Okay, now that we have these shucked, the next step we're going to do is to put some compound butter on each of these. Basically, I had some compound butter already made up. This consisted of garlic and some Heath Riles barbecue rub that I thought would be good for this. Some Cajun Creole butter garlic, to be precise. Now that we have those together, basically we're just going to set them into the oyster plate that's already been preheated in there. And this went in pretty easily, and what I liked about the oyster plate was the cavities just kind of held everything in place and made it just a little bit more convenient in that regard. It's a quick cook. These things don't take too long to do, so we're really only looking at anywhere between 5 and 8 minutes for everything total. And yeah, I went ahead and tried to save some of that juice and put a little bit of that on there because that juice is where all the flavor lies. And like I said, this is a pretty quick cook. Now, I want you to kind of zoom in here as you look at these. And I mean, these are looking good. See that little bubbling there and everything going on? These things just started plumping up. Really started coming together. Now, I wanted them to go just a little bit longer. And maybe I went too long, but nonetheless, they still tasted really, really good. And that was it. These things were, pretty much done. I mean, wasn't much else to do but enjoy them. Now I will share this, okay? This was really the first time for the kids to try oysters, specifically grilled oysters like this. And I may have made a mistake because normally I try to find things that I like and they don't. Well, let me tell you, they love these. I mean, these came out really good. Now, yeah, we're a rib family. Paired those up with some ribs, for the evening. And everybody definitely went to bed full. This was a good meal, guys, I gotta tell you. Oh yeah, and I added some smoked cream cheese there. Now normally I don't repeat things back to back, but those oysters were so good, we decided to do it again. And this time we're going direct on the grill, and we're using an approach that I think is out of New Orleans, the Drago Hotel approach, where basically you just place the oysters directly on the grill. Okay, as you see me doing here. And yeah, we're preheated to 450 degrees again. Okay, and you get those lined up as close as you can to each other, because the next step that you're going to do is pour melted butter, seasoned butter on top of it. Now this is purposely going to generate a flare up and a lot of smoke, okay? But that's kind of the idea. You're going to get these things to be a little bit flame kissed and toasted a little bit. And in the middle of that process, you're going to top it with basically some Parmesan breadcrumbs. This is just breadcrumbs and some crumbled up Parmesan cheese that I have in there. And then again, we're going to close the lid on that and just let those toast up. Now, this worked out beautifully as well. But I will admit it was a little bit trickier getting everything lined up, on the grill. But we made it work. And then from there, it's just a matter of getting it with the tongs, getting a good grip on that, and then placing it in that oyster plate. And again, that worked out fairly well. Now pairing this up with basically a smoked and seared ribeye. Yeah, we had ribeyes on sale, and the way I did the ribeyes, I went ahead and borrowed the Black's seasoning. That's just that table salt and pepper combined with a little red pepper in there as well. And I gotta tell you, it worked out really good. It did not suck. And yes, we got some good flame kissing going on here. I didn't leave these on too long. They came out a nice medium rare for us. And there you go, surf and turf. Ribeyes, oysters, and asparagus. It was not a bad meal that night, I must say. Now, I hate to sound like an impulse shopper, but since that oyster plate worked out pretty good, I got myself a shrimp plate. And this thing, it's got a little crown on the top where you put the butter, and effectively that butter melts down into the shrimp channels. And you line your shrimp up in there and effectively braise them inside that butter. Now, again, it says preheat everything, and so I preheated everything, and the butter melted, and you can see it just sizzled, but it was too hot to lay those shrimp in just right. Nonetheless, they braised in that butter, and basically I pre-seasoned the shrimp, just kind of mixed them up in a combination of different seasonings. In this case, I was using that Heath Riles, butter garlic, Creole one more time. The flavor on that was really good, and we liked it on the oyster, so I thought, let's go for it again here. Anyhow, cook these up to temp, with everything at 450 degrees. It didn't take long. I mean, this was really just, less than 5 minutes, I think. But you know what? I was really happy with the results on this. That came out really good. My only concern was I did not, have everything lined up in the channels as, the advertisement leads you to believe. But, oh well, it still worked out okay. Now, this time we paired these again, chicken wings and that rotisserie that I put together. Again, this is just becoming a family favorite, and the kids love it, and honestly, I kind of enjoy it too. I'll be sure to put a card up there so you can have a link to that video as well, but it works out good. So yeah, chicken and shrimp. It was a good night. Now, it was so good that they demanded some more shrimp. So this time I said, you know what, I'm not preheating the shrimp pan. I'm just going to go ahead and go with some of that butter that's already in there, melt a little bit more in, and I'm just going to preload this because I can't see how they did it any other way for that picture. So preloaded everything up, and then it was back in at 450, and another 5 minutes later we had another round of shrimp ready for us. And I have to say, all in all, this was really just a pretty easy dinner. I mean, there was not a lot of work on my part at all, and the fact that everything just came out so well, everything was seasoned, and you can't go wrong with that kind of butter. It was just really good. And that Creole seasoning, let me tell you about that Creole seasoning. Now, if you can eat quietly, I challenge you to try, because this stuff is going to make you holla. Oh, yeah. Okay, not my best Cajun impersonation, but hey, I tried. Okay, now we got an invention of my own, banana pudding pie. I took my mom's banana pudding recipe and basically created a crust out of vanilla wafers to go with it, okay? Now, my mom's banana pudding recipe, you got to bump up a little bit of the cornstarch, and that gets the gelatin a little thicker, okay? Now, on my twist, it was to create a vanilla wafer crust and then basically use the egg whites for meringue to go on top, okay? So let's break that down here. I'll let you guys take a snapshot of that, but here's the blow-by-blow. Now, using a food processor, we're going to crush up the wafers, add the brown sugar, the salt, and the flour, okay? And we're going to pulse this to a very fine grind. It's better to be, more on the fine side than the coarse side on this. So you can't really overdo it that much, but just make sure you get it, a good fine grind like you see there. And then we're going to add in about 7 tablespoons of melted unsalted butter. All right, and this is going to bind in with the flour and everything else and really work out well for us. Now, you can go a little lighter on the butter, but I wouldn't suggest it. I think you need that. Spray pan your pie dish, and then what we're going to do is we're going to dump that into the pie dish, and we're going to start by building the sides first, okay? And then we're going to work the bottom. This way you get everything that you need on the sides initially, and then as you start to work the bottom, you can use your hands to flatten that out, or a measuring cup. I've done both, okay? But this works out pretty well. And if you want to make this chocolate, just add a tablespoon of Hershey's cocoa on that. Next, we're going to bake that 18 to 20 minutes at 325, and then we're going to let it cool completely before we mix in the banana pudding and start layering. Now, while all that's happening, we're going to do the meringue. And in this case, we're going to take those leftover egg whites, we're going to add some cream of tartar and some white sugar into that, and we're just going to beat this thing to very stiff peaks, okay? I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. So right there, that's what I went for, that kind of stiffness right there, okay? Now, with everything cooled down, it's time to start building up the pudding. So bananas, vanilla wafers, and then, well, in this case I just went with pudding, but because I had some wafers already on the bottom with the crust. But there is another layer of vanilla wafers in there, trust me. They won't let me, do this without it. And then we're going to top this with the meringue. Now, as you see there, I'm leaving some swirls in place on purpose, because as we put this in the oven, what's really nice about this is the valleys don't brown as much as the peaks, and you get that really nice look at the end of the day, okay? And so in this instance, we're going to bake this meringue at roughly 400 degrees for a fair amount of time, and then as you can see here, it just starts to golden up. Now I've increased the time lapse here on this, but it goldens up real nice, and this is your finished product, right? So what you want to do is just take that and basically let that cool now, and then as that cools down and gets to that finished coolness, we're going to stick that into the refrigerator. Oh yeah, I did a coconut cream pie as well, and this worked out good. Basically added coconut to the custard, and then put it in the pie shell. Okay, that sound can only mean one thing. It's Zen time. This child who does not wish to be identified as my child, what did you think of pie for dinner?
It was really good.
How good was pie for dinner?
I'm not used to it, but I love it.
Which was your favorite pie for dinner?
The banana pudding one. No. I'm tired. I just woke up.
Do I need to change your voice as well?
It's okay.
And yeah, do me a favor, like and subscribe and give me some comments. Truly appreciate it.